Now in the previous lecture, we have looked at how to write a recursive method for any given problem in 3 steps. As an example, we have used factorial numbers. Now here, we will look at different mathematical problem, which is Fibonacci numbers. By using 3 steps, we will create a recursive method to calculate Fibonacci numbers. So before starting to write our function, let's clarify what is Fibonacci numbers. So Fibonacci sequence is a sequence of numbers in which each number is the sum of 2 preceding ones, and the sequence starts from 0 and 1. Now let's see what Fibonacci numbers look like. As you see, it starts from 0 and 1, and this means that the first 2 elements of Fibonacci numbers are always reserved for 0 and 1. So the next number is 1, which is sum of 0 and 1. Then the next number is 2, which is sum of 2 preceding numbers. So 2 preceding numbers in this case is 1 plus 1. Then the next number is 3, which is sum of 2 preceding number, 1 plus 2. Then it comes 5. So here also we have implemented same rule. So in this case this means that 2 plus 3. Then 8, which is 3 plus 5. Then 13, which is 5 plus 8. And it continues like this till the infinity. Now hopefully you have understood the logic of Fibonacci numbers. So the Fibonacci numbers are the numbers in which each number is the sum of 2 preceding ones, and the sequence starts from 0 and 1. So as a first step, we need to define our recursive case. So if we look at this sequence that we showed over here, taking any given number, for example, if we take 5, let's take 5, we can easily see that it is sum of 2 preceding ones, which are 3 and 2. So this means that we can write our Fibonacci equation like this. So Fibonacci of n is equal to Fibonacci of n minus 1 plus Fibonacci of n minus 2. So in this case, n is 5, Fibonacci of n minus 1 is 3, and Fibonacci of n minus 2 is 2. So if we sum them, we will get 5. Now this is our recursive case. Now based on this recursive case, let's switch to Java and write our function and see how this is working. So in this case, I'm going to declare a method over here like this, public int, which will return integer. So the name of method will be Fibonacci. So it will take as a parameter int n, and then we are writing our recursive case. So the recursive case is return Fibonacci of n minus 1 plus Fibonacci of n minus 2, Fibonacci n minus 1, and plus Fibonacci n minus 2. Now if you run our function, you will see that it calls itself without stopping. So we are in infinite loop. So this leads to system crash if we implement it in an application. So I'll just try to run it to show you how this is working. So here I'm going to declare a new variable, which is reg, and this will be the return value from this Fibonacci method. So in this case, I'm going to, so I missed this one over here. So I will call recursion dot Fibonacci. Let's call it for 3, for example. And we will print out that number. System out println. So we will print out reg. Now let's run our code to see how this is working. Now if you run our code, you see that we are receiving the same error that we received in case of factorial numbers. So here our loop runs infinitely. So then it gives error because it reached the limit of the infinity. To prevent this case, we know that we have a second step in which we define base condition for our method. So from the definition of the Fibonacci, we know that Fibonacci number starts from 0 and 1. So in this case, our base condition will be 0 and 1. So when our function receives any of these elements as an input, it should return that number itself. Because Fibonacci of 0 is 0 and the Fibonacci of 1 is 1. So in this case, we will write this second step in the method like this. So if I switch to our method, so here I will write our base condition like this. If n equals 0 or equals 1, then in this case we will return n itself. So after writing this, let's run our method to see how this is working for the Fibonacci 3. So now you can see it's not running infinite loop. So Fibonacci of 3 is 2. We know that from the sequence, so everything works smoothly. Now we have to keep in mind that we always need to check for third step, in which we have unintentional case. One more time, we need to look for cases in which our function might run infinitely. So one more time here, I want you to pause the video and think if you can find that case. Now hopefully you have found it. If you haven't found it, let's look at this problem together. So from the definition of Fibonacci sequence, we know that it starts from 0 and 1. So it's applicable only for positive numbers. So here again, if we take into account that the numbers might be negative or it has to be integer, we can check that what will happen if we call Fibonacci for these numbers over here. Now in case of Java, so if we defined our parameter as an integer and if we call this number for float number, you will see that it will give you error straight away. We have to take into account this case in which we have -1. So let's see how can we take care of this -1. Now in this case, I'm going to write another if condition over here, which will check that if n is less than 0, so then in this case we can return -1. So in this case I'm going to return -1. So in this case, let's run our code for example -2 and run our code to see how this is working. So it should return -1. Now you see that the output is -1. So everything works the way that we want. Now one more time, I'm going to take this method and to see how this is working in the background for any given number. Now in this case, I have copied the method over here and we have the sequence of Fibonacci number. So we are going to run it for Fibonacci of 4. Now if we run it for Fibonacci of 4, the first step that it's going to do is it will check that if n is less than 0 or not. So in this case, we see that it's not less than 0, so it's going to the second condition. So second condition checks that if n equals to 0 or it's equal to 1. So we see that both cases are okay. So it's not equal to 0 or it's not equal to 1. Then it goes over here. In this case, it will call Fibonacci number twice. So in this case, call Fibonacci of 3 and Fibonacci of 2. So our function Fibonacci of 4 will call Fibonacci of 3 and Fibonacci of 2. Then we are continuing with the Fibonacci of 3. Then we are continuing to calculate for Fibonacci of 3. Now one more time, it will go and check that if n is less than 0, so it's not less than 0, then it continues to the next condition. So in the next condition, it's checking that if n equal to 0 or 1, so we see that n is 3, it's not equal either of them. So this means that it will call itself one more time twice. So in this case, it will call it for Fibonacci of 2 and Fibonacci of 1. Now, then we are continuing for the Fibonacci of 2 in this case. So here again, it will check if 2 is less than 0, it's not less than 0, so it's going to this condition. So this condition, in this condition also, it's not equal to 0 or 1. So this means that it will call itself here also twice. So we will calculate it like this: Fibonacci of 1 plus Fibonacci of 0. Then the same rule is applicable for this Fibonacci of 2. So this means that it's calculated based on Fibonacci of 1 and Fibonacci of 0. Now we know that we have base condition for Fibonacci of 1 and Fibonacci of 0. So this means that when we call it for Fibonacci of 0, it comes over here, checks that n is not less than 0. So here n equals to 0. So this means that 0 is equal to 0. So this means that the Fibonacci of 0 will be 0. So then we are calculating the function for 1. So in case of 1, if n equals to 1, it returns 1. So the Fibonacci of 1 will be 1. Now we calculated Fibonacci of 1 and we calculated Fibonacci of 0. So this means that Fibonacci of 2 will be the sum of 1 plus 0 is 1. So the Fibonacci of 2 will be 1. Then we have calculated Fibonacci of 1. So Fibonacci of 1 is 1. Then here also we have calculated Fibonacci of 0 and 1. We know that Fibonacci of 0 is 0 and Fibonacci of 1 is 1. So this means that Fibonacci of 2 is also 1. Then based on these two equations, we can calculate Fibonacci of 3. So Fibonacci of 3 will be Fibonacci of 2 plus Fibonacci of 1. So Fibonacci of 2 is 1 and Fibonacci of 1 is 1. So this means that Fibonacci of 3 will be 2. Then based on these two equations, we can calculate Fibonacci of 4. So Fibonacci of 4 is equal to Fibonacci of 3 plus Fibonacci of 2. So Fibonacci of 3 we have calculated that it's 2 and Fibonacci of 2 is 1. So if we calculate them, the result is 3. Now this is how it works in case of Fibonacci of 4. So this is what's happening at the background when we call Fibonacci of 4, and it calls itself several times with the different parameters. Now hopefully you have understood how can we write a recursive method in 3 steps in case of Fibonacci numbers. So this is all for this lecture. So see you in the next lectures.